purpose of this discussion is to try to identify how we can avoid disasters. When we think about that, it's a lot easier to identify potential problems than it is to create solutions. After all, they haven't happened yet. So necessarily, because that's so, whatever solutions we propose will be not perfect solutions. Can there ever be a perfect solution? We don't know, but certainly it's more difficult to propose perfect solutions for things which haven't happened yet. But, and here's the but, we have to try. As a country, we know for sure that if we do nothing about potential problems as they become more realistic, we only guarantee failure, and we cannot afford that. In other countries, they approach this in a different fashion. They create a ministry or a department of economic development. The job of this industry is to identify the national interest and the national core values and relate the national core interest to specific actions by specific companies and to make recommendations how to fix them if they're going off track. Obama tried this with the Automobile Task Force, and I think he did quite a good job of that. But so far, there's been no expansion or ongoing extension of that program. What they did in the Automobile Task Force was essentially lend General Motors and Chrysler about $150 billion. In exchange for that, the country received 60% ownership in General Motors, and we saved a lot of jobs. But for those companies to qualify and receive that money, they had to show the Treasury Department a convincing business plan which would convince Treasury that the companies were likely to survive, at least had a chance of surviving and staying intact after the exiting bankruptcy. I believe it was in the national interest to do it. So let's expand it. Why not? Well, we think about expanding something like that in this country, we have some difficulties. We believe in the idea of free markets. That is, we tend to believe that the market is the best force to solve all these questions. And we shy away from directing markets unless there's an imminent disaster. The problem with that is that we can't afford that anymore. The global economy is so intertwined and so interdependent that any problem almost anywhere can go global very quickly. We need to track these things in a much more organized fashion. You know what? In that video, he's right. We need direction. Well, the question is, how do we create that direction? I think we create a new organization that is politically independent and does two things. The first thing it does, it assesses proposed laws and programs for their impact on the national interest. The second thing it does, it proposes new laws and programs where it thinks it appropriate. It's probably best as an independent institute, not part of either political party or the administration. The issues this organization will deal with are, first of all, market incentives. The United States market economy is great at creating wealth for businesses who are successful. We don't want to destroy the wealth machine, so we need to be careful to ensure the market incentives will remain. Another issue is complex events. We need to keep track of a whole wide range of differing things to be sure that we're keeping track of the critical things. So we need to keep track of wide things. Next is business goodwill. Business managers and owners will accept a reasonable, fair amount of regulation and rulemaking, provided it is not arbitrary or punitive. So we need to ensure the goodwill of business. We need to abide by the separation of powers. The United States Congress says the administration can do certain things, and Congress can do certain things, and the Supreme Court can do certain things. We need to ensure that whatever we do does not violate the separation of powers of the United States Constitution. Lastly, the issues should all be identified and analyzed in the light of the public interest. At the moment, the interests at the table are private. We need to have a public interest viewpoint there as well. To ensure success, the staff of this organization needs to have an entrepreneurial focus. By that I mean to focus on the 2 or 3 critical variables and to make sure they are got 80% right. This is in opposition to the idea of taking every variable and getting every variable 100% right. Trying that will result in stagnation. Secondly, staff needs economic training. The critical component of this issue is economic understanding. Next thing is bureaucratic skills. Any activity or proposal the organization will make will involve a number of different agencies, so we need the ability to interface with a wide variety of different agencies. Additionally, the organization will need vision. The vision I'm referring to here is the ability to identify core American values and translate those core values into specific recommendations for industries and companies. The last one is data skills. But it's clearly all the activities will revolve around economic data. We need the ability to understand data, to track data, and identify changes as to which ones are significant and which ones are not significant. My personal goal is to begin raising funds and begin starting this new organization. You can track progress at www.mkeever.com. That's www.mkeever.com. Thank you for watching.